Well, social audit is a tool that we've started using in Khayelitsha in Cape Town in 2013. It's a tool that is used for residents to monitor budgets and monitor spending, public spending by government, to see if what government says they spend is exactly what reflects on the ground.
The janitorial service is a service which has done a lot to improve sanitation in informal settlements in Khayelitsha, but it's been plagued with problems. Largely this is due to the city's failure or at times refusal to develop proper plans for the janitorial service specifically, but also plans for sanitation more broadly.
Our toilets are not next to our houses. It's far and it's so dangerous. We are not safe when we go to the toilet. And we find that the toilets were not cleaning 3 times a week. They clean maybe once, maybe 3 times on a month. And the community members didn't know where they come from.
Whatever, but I need to revise that land because it's suicide accountability. I must specify exactly what needs the government on exactly. So your responsibility and accountability.
Write it down. So for a janitor to go and do his or her job, he has to be inoculated first, and he has to get that needle that will protect you from getting disease from the toilet. Because every janitor will be inoculated in accordance with the council policy prior to being deployed.
Within that week-long process, you would create questionnaires or surveys where you would go and speak to people and speak to beneficiaries and speak to workers if they are workers, and ask them about this service that government says is providing. Ask whether workers are treated fairly, ask whether people are being paid fairly, ask whether residents are satisfied with the service, and also physically check if the service is as what government says.
We're in Nkanini at Section 3 in Khayelitsha, and we're currently going to each of the toilets and trying to see the conditions that the toilets are in. And we have a checklist of things that we're ticking off to enable us to determine whether the service being provided through this form of sanitation is acceptable.
Social audit. Ngendlela abathi basifake ngayo toilet ukho abantu baqinayo ngoku isithi baqina ngelahlobo sikhoyo phaka kusivumelelo sabona then ke kusithatha nabahlali sive ngaba lenkonzo yena yokuqina kwethoilet i-right nayo isithi toilet ikude kangakanani emntwini umzekelo sisebenzisa le-toilet kanti ndihlala phakathi ekoneni sifuna uqonda izinto ezinjalo nango sithatha nabahlali sikajonga i-toilet ngo isithi azilikhishi zazo zonke phakathi
First set of toilets that we've come across with only one of the toilets had a lock on, the rest didn't, and the conditions of these toilets are from just the initial look at them are far more run down. There are a number of parts broken, doors are hanging off, and it's not as clean as some of the other toilets, so it does seem that there is a difference in the quality of service between just within walking distance of the toilets.
Well, you will see some of them sitting in groups, but they do nothing anyway.
Yeah. So have you reported this?
Yeah, many times.
And when did you report this?
It was by the April when they came to shoot if they're gonna do something,
right.
Yeah. But they never did anything. So I take their pictures so that when they say no, we did come, I will know that they never did.
Okay.
Yeah.
The janitor that I spoke to, she complained about the equipment that they don't have to actually work, and they don't have protection like for hygiene purposes and their health. There's about 5 residents who uses one toilet, right, for each toilet, and probably one resident, one household won't clean the toilets or maybe leave it dirty, and the other one will lock the toilet because they say the other household don't clean the toilet or they mess it up. So it creates conflict in that way among the residents, and you find that there's no water to use the toilet, so some of them use plastics in the toilets and they leave it like that.
The city is not communicating enough. That is the root. Because if the city would communicate with the janitors about their contracts, if the city would communicate with the communities, this is what we're planning to do. This is what, maybe the city is communicating with the ward councillors, but the councillors are not going to the people. If the city would communicate with the people, but this is going to be temporary something, then we can change it to being permanent. I think the whole thing is around lack of information for everyone. And even, for example, if you say there's not enough chemicals, and then the chemicals will only come after a month, maybe they don't communicate enough with the janitors, but you know, so those are the kind of problems that one...
I noticed that she didn't know what time. She was like, hey you, what time do we get in? What time do we get out?
Someone said it's 7:30 until 5:30. I don't know. They don't know the exact time.
Kids use some of the toilets as part of their recreational material. So there are not enough recreational facilities that kids can use.
Some of the communities didn't even know about the janitorial service. And also some of the communities clean the toilet themselves. And some of the communities fix the toilet. They're not supposed to be locking the toilets, but because I will come from there and I'll come use the toilet and not flush or put in foreign objects, while the people that are close to it can take care of it. So they lock it, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people will lock it and say, we are responsible for cleaning it, we are responsible for, But even that locking is a problem for the janitors because the janitors can't now access it. And then when the janitors want to clean, they go knocking into the houses and there's nobody at home, which means the janitors can't clean the toilets.
Siyasabona abantwana bedlala kweza toilets ezininzi zibekwe ebumanzini ezizibhlokileyo kanye badlala kwabaphayi banyathela abaphayi baphayi. Itoilet zifumaniseke zimdaka ngaphakathi nangaphandle kukho amanzi because ziyalika xa zizonke. Toilet xa uyakhona funeka ubeke izitena so that uzokwazi ungena etoilet whereas the toilet ekhona namanzi ngaphakathi.
We received 3 types of responses depending on the questionnaires which were responded to by the janitors, the residents, and physical verification forms. Okay, so we have physical verification forms. These are forms which were compiled by our social auditors as they were going around inspecting the toilets to make sure that they were in good condition and functioning well. In this physical verification, we're also verifying or checking how clean the toilets are and the surrounding areas is, whether the sewer pipes are well connected or broken. Then on the residents' questionnaires, the type of information we're looking for was whether the residents used toilets in that particular area, whether they're satisfied with service delivery, how many times the janitors come and clean. Then from the janitors' forms, we're asking questions pertaining to how many hours the janitors work. We have quite a significant number of toilets which are broken and unusable. We've got toilets which are blocked, some are not connected well, some are damaged in terms like the doors are damaged, some don't even have roofs.
On the Saturday after that week-long process, we invite other government stakeholders and other civil society people or organizations to be part of the social audit and invite the broader community to be there, and then we present the findings that we got from the investigation that we did during the week.
We've interviewed, as I said, 195 residents. We've inspected 528 toilets. We interviewed 31 janitors. That's about 800 questionnaires in total.
Malunga ne-12% yabasebenzi be-toilets abafumana uqeqesho kwezempilo nokhuseleko ngezixhobo abasebenza ngazo. I-16% yabasebenzi abasezitoilet abafumananga luqeqesho kwakhona, abafumananga uqeqesho at all, abafumananga needs.
Now, I acknowledge that previously we did had issues with inoculations, which we tried to resolve internally, and we have just, with the new intake of janitors, all the janitors that we're currently doing an intake on, of which I think 220 will be based in Khayelitsha, they are all being inoculated at the moment. I think we probably inoculated about half in the last week, and these janitors started about 2 weeks ago. So in future, all the janitors will be inoculated on time.
We all want decent sanitation for everyone. Yes, we do. And it's very important that we work together. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And we are very committed to this engagement and to this interaction. And we believe that NGOs and NPOs do a very useful job in exposing problems and in helping us. But we've got to realize that when it comes to solving service delivery problems, we are on the same side. We are not fighting each other.
We can say that there's so many toilets broken and so many toilets not functioning. Have we done our part to report it? Have we at least have a reference number to say that we have reported? At this point, we note all of the recommendations. We still have questions around the survey, and up until we've had that data, we would then engage with the SJC further.
After the SJC has provided the report, the gentleman was asking that after 3 months, we come back with the city and with everyone who's here to report back on what has happened, on whether there have been any issues that have been solved. So we just want to know, is that the city is something that is willing to do?
Look, I think what we've said is, let's get the report, let's work through the report. At the end of the day, a social audit is about how do you improve the service. It's not about whether the city is right or whether the SDC is right. It is about how do we move forward. Now, we're happy to do exactly that, to come back as you said. I'm not opposed to coming back in 3 months. Thanks.
The system that you are using currently is not working. The complaints are coming in from every corner, from everywhere. That means the system that you are currently using is not working. I believe, Mr. Sonnenberg, you have people on the ground who are supposedly to be monitoring the system, but obviously they're giving you the edited version of what is happening on the ground. Now, I would suggest you take it up to yourself. You, Mr. Sonnenberg, you come to the ground, to where the people are. You come and observe. You come and monitor. You come do unannounced monitoring. You don't tell them when or where you would be. You come and check if they're doing what they are telling you they are doing. Because obviously, in the books, they're writing that everything is 98%, whereas everything is 2% that is done.
Because I know also clearly about malunga toilet. Ekugqibeleni ukhona izikhalazo ezininzi uthi singabahlali nomsebenzi. Nangona sifuna ukudala sisingelithi zakhe sifuna sincedisa siphethe. Omasasigqibele sibheke phambili kuthiwa masize sikhonze nelethi kuthiwa izakhe bhekiseyile size nazo asifumani imali yethu ungathi singake siye nomnyango sizawufumana kuyo thina lesicela nje into njengoba silapha nje ukuthi ngodingelela kobhiyeli netoilet esifake zichithe itoilet zethu siqale eqaleni and then imali zethu xa kuphuma abasebenzisekile into imali zethu njengoba siphangela singazifana wonke umnyango ngoba sifumana indibadileyo ebhezela kulathi nabasebenzi bakhe.
Yes, and because it's not the numbers themselves that are meaningful in a report like this. It's what we can learn from them, what they tell us. Because much more important than, and even beyond that, much more important than what the numbers tell us are the results of the process that we then embark upon once we have this evidence. This evidence itself is just a piece of paper. It's only useful if we have a good process of engagement beyond this point.
I think in reflecting on this process, I think I want to commend the way the process this event has come to what I think is a positive and constructive conclusion. I acknowledge the challenges of the context where you have a lot of community people and you have councillors, and there's a sense of energetic issues in the air. But I want to commend the facilitators, SJC, for bringing this to a clear way forward, which talks to specific actions. And I felt that the issues that people raised here, especially the technical observations around the way the system is designed, can really lead to solutions. And I think if this process succeeds, it succeeds because it delivers improved services in this area.
All I can say in conclusion is that this work does not end here, obviously. The struggle for progressive realization of rights and the pursuit of holding government accountable is an important and it's a noble endeavor. We hope we can continue to be part of this discussion with communities and with government towards finding sustainable solutions to restoring our inherent dignity and ensuring the realization of rights. And again, we thank the Social Justice Coalition for inviting us to participate today.
We want other municipalities as well to see that the issue of sanitation is important, not only for residents, but also for the workers who work in these conditions.
I want the society to spread all the provinces of South Africa. There's so much we want to change in South Africa. So the society is so important to us as a community.